And the nutrient, what happens when a grain sprouted, that means it's already been digested. So when it gets inside your body, there is much less digestion that needs to take place for that particular grain that has been sprouted.
Even though you're not getting vitamins and minerals?
You're still getting some. You're not getting nearly as much as if you ate the grain itself without baking it. But there is still some. None of the fiber has been taken out of it.
Yeah.
So you do have benefits left in it. They're at a lower level than if you just ate the grain itself.
Okay.
But it is easier to digest. The sprouting causes that bread to be easier to digest. That's the major benefit of eating.
Plus, you know,
individual
my
bread.
husband bakes bread. He's a real good bread maker. And he'll put some whole food in, but if you put nothing but whole food in your loaf, it's heavy, it doesn't have the air bubbles in it. So you kind of have to mix some white in as well as the whole wheat. So he'll make it a partial whole wheat, but he has to put the white in, otherwise you get a dense,
Right.
heavy, you know, bread that doesn't taste good.
We don't like that texture at all.
So the, you know, I mean,
My rule of thumb is bread is my last choice when it comes to grains and getting fiber in my body. It is so removed from its original source that it's so stressful on my body that,
you
I
don't
mean,
get
I'm lucky to eat bread twice a month. I used to be the kind of person that ate bread 4 times a day. And the sweeter the bread, the better, you know.
See, I'm not
I
a
could
big
eat my weight in bread.
Yeah.
And it feeds yeast faster than anything
Yeah.
else in your body.
I'm not a big sandwich person, to be honest.
Sandwiches,
are.
pizzas
I
are
do like
extremely, extremely stressful on the
I mean,
body.
I don't have
Sandwiches are.
Sandwiches are, because you've got a bread that doesn't have a lot of nutrient value, very, very difficult to digest. You're putting it in your body at exactly the same time as you are a meat, which is very, very difficult to digest. Oftentimes you put cheese, some kind of dairy, on it as well, which requires a completely different kind of enzyme and has a lot of fat in it, which is a different kind of enzyme also. You might put vegetables on it, one piece of lettuce, one little slice of tomato, which doesn't even count as a serving of anything, and think you're doing something really great for yourself, when in reality you're causing so much stress on your body that it's not going to get digested unless you take a digestive enzyme to overcome all of that, and it will sit in your stomach too long and begin to rot, putrefy, and become toxic. That means any of the nutrients that were in it never make it to the cellular level, and your cells are malnourished, and you have a toxic buildup in the body that leads to inflammation, that leads to lack of oxygen, that leads to mutating cells.
Would it
Why
be,
do all these lousy foods taste so good?
can you give us, this may take up too much of your time, I don't know, but maybe one week you could print out an example, I mean, kind of an example of what you eat throughout maybe a couple of days, just to give us an, you know.
How do you get that satisfied feeling when you're not eating any bread?
Okay, that's a great question.
I can eat an enormous salad and feel like I ate the whole thing, and about an hour from then, I'm ready to eat again.
That's right, salads don't fill you up very well.
If you do not eat a protein source, and protein does not have to come from flesh, remember, there are many, many vegetable plant sources of protein. But if you do not eat a protein source with your salad, your cells will still be unsatisfied.
You're talking about beans.
I'm talking about beans or meat of some
Eggs.
sort, nuts,
Eggs.
seeds, eggs, avocados, cheese, any protein source that is not flesh, okay?
You can
Is-
make a hearty salad that make you feel less hungry.
Correct.
You know, with all those things in.
But it's okay to put a meat into a salad because the salad is not cooked. It has all its live enzymes in it. The salad is pretty much going to digest itself, and your body won't have to use hardly any energy to digest that salad. So it will be able to put its energy toward digesting the flesh. Okay? If you don't eat enough protein in a meal, after a short period of time, 30, 45 minutes, your cells will send a signal saying, excuse me, that was really nice and I got a lot of nutrients from that, but what I did not get enough of was amino acids. Okay? Amino acids come from proteins, whether it's plant sourced or flesh sourced. If you provide enough amino acids, your cells will be satisfied. You will not get a hunger signal.
Okay, is this a myth that incomplete proteins, so you have to combine
No.
beans with
No.
something?
No. Your body is wise. Your body knows amino acids and what they provide for the nutrition of the cells. Your body will take in what you give it, utilize what you've given it, and wait for whatever you give it next and utilize what you give it next. So if you don't in one meal eat rice and beans combined to create a complete protein from your body is going to say, okay, I'm getting some amino acids from the lettuce that she gave me. I'm getting some different amino acids from the carrots that were in the salad. I'm getting some different amino acids from the nuts that were in the salad. And I'm just going to pull all those together and make a complete protein on my own. Okay? The body's wise.
Almonds.
It knows what to do.
Almonds are real good in the salad. I always put almonds in. You know. Or
You can put your
all
chia
kinds of
seeds, your flax seeds, you can put sesame seeds, you can put sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, you can use almonds, pecans, walnuts, cashews,
Any kind of nut.
any kind of nut is going to have protein source in it. It has great fat, it has great fiber. Phenomenal for you on many, many levels. Thank you, God. And you ask, why do these foods taste so good? That comes back to our good God. He gave us all this variety with all these flavors and textures so that we wouldn't have to eat the same thing over and over and be bored out of our mind. When the children of Israel were wandering around the desert and he gave them manna, they got really bored and they started whining. And he got so sick and tired of their whining that he rained quail down on them to the point that they almost got beat to death by the quail falling out of the air, you know. So let's be grateful for the variety that we have and all the different flavors and textures and colors and
Like we almost
smells.
need to go to a nutritionist to guide us on what to eat and you know what.
Well, and again, what an adventure. What a great, exciting time for us to be able to explore and learn new ways of eating and combinations and try some foods maybe we've never even tried before. Because we get in such a rut of eating the same things over and over and over again, you know, because it's easy and it's time saving or whatever our reason is, you know. Uh-huh. And this is opening up a whole new opportunity for us to learn about eating new foods and changing recipes around, and take a recipe that you love and learn how to substitute a food that's not so good for you, remove it and put something else in there that's better for you and still let it taste the same.
We substitute cream, because my husband's doing all this chef stuff online and we were having cream and stuff, and after I had my gallbladder out, no way am I doing this anymore to my body, so we use Greek yogurt instead of the cream, and it's delicious in things. If you're making a sauce of some kind, put Greek yogurt in there instead of the cream.
I made a lasagna a couple weeks ago, and I can find Ezekiel noodles in the grocery store. They're quite a lot more expensive than the regular old white wheat ones that you can buy. Or you can buy rice pasta now, which is easier for your body to digest than processed white wheat pastas are. However, I decided to skip the pasta completely. Instead, I bought an eggplant. And I cut that eggplant long ways in real thin little slices. and I layered it in my lasagna in place of pasta. Put all my sauces on, which I put a sausage that I bought at the farmer's market that has no nitrates in it, no artificial preservatives or flavorings or anything in it, raised from pigs that were fed properly and were out wandering around playing and doing what pigs are supposed to do. And put all my onions and my garlic and all my stuff in. Used my cheeses. I always put cottage cheese with an egg beat up in it and stuff like that. I made it exactly the same way I would, but without the pasta noodles. I substituted with eggplant instead. And it was phenomenal. You wouldn't know the difference.
Do you take the fat off the meat?
I do. I cook my meat first, and then I put it in a strainer and run it under warm water and strain all of the fat off of it before I put it in to my sauce.
That sounds good.
However, let me say this. A fat from an animal who has been raised the way God intended for animals to be raised and fed the foods that they're supposed to eat in nature will have a fat that is compatible with your body. Your body will utilize the good of that fat and eliminate whatever's left over from the body. So many times, if you have available to you a good source of animal fat, it is easier on your body than putting into your body a Crisco or a margarine or some substitute for fat. Eat things that God made as much as possible in the form that God made them, rather than having been altered and messed with and
And
changed.
there's so many farms around here that raise their
They are
cattle
available.
correctly and that way that,
Mhm.
you know, there's just...
But if they sell to you and the government finds out about it, they'll shut them down.
No, not on meats. The one thing that in the state of South Carolina that is true about is raw milk. They can only sell raw milk for animal consumption, not for human consumption.
Well, we better tell the produce stand above my house about that.
But
I've
if
got a
you,
sign that says raw milk.
right, and you can go in and buy it, but if a government official comes along and says, what are you going to do with that? You say, I've got a dog that really likes raw milk a lot, or I'm going to make soap out of it, or something like that, you know. Don't tell him you're going to drink it, because then he'll go back to the person who sold it and put them in jail.
You know, a long time ago, that's all people drank was raw milk.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly
the
right.
The milkman delivered my milk and there was a cream on top of the milk.
Yep.
And so good.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we're talking about an environment that is unhealthy for the body and cancer cells will grow in. We talked about some foods that contributed to that. I want to talk about two more things before we move away from this subject.
Did you finish the oxygen depleting activities?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about right now.
Okay.
Foods can be oxygen depleting activities, and eating those foods that we just talked about will deplete oxygen, okay? Another thing that will deplete oxygen and create a poor environment inside the body is unresolved mental stress.
Mental.
Emotional. If we're fretting over something and it's creating a knot in our stomach, tension right here in the neck,
Oh gosh.
headaches,
It's the world we live in today.
whatever,
Um,
that's creating inflammation, which leads to oxygen deprivation, which leads to mutating cells.
bruxism, is that an unresolved mental stress?
What?
Bruxism? Grinding your teeth in your sleep.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what bruxism was either.
That's what it is.
TMJ. That can definitely lead to it. Yes, ma'am. That is unresolved stress that
That is what
once you-
causes that? It's unresolved?
causes you to grind your teeth when you're
And
sleeping.
sleep.
Yes. Unresolved stress.
Okay.
Mental stress. Emotional stress.
So we need a computer we can go put our hands on and it'll tell us what kind of stress we need to resolve.
But you know what? The body doesn't care what kind of stress it is. It responds exactly the same way. We seem to think that, oh, because I'm upset with my husband because he was a jerk, that's not going to affect my physical body. Wrong, wrong, wrong. My physical body's going to respond to that stress just like a lion chasing me trying to kill me.
It's mind over matter. Get your mind so it doesn't get stressed.
Stress is
All
stress
the
is stress.
reason to
The
soak
Word of
yourself
God.
in the Word.
Yeah. The Psalms.
Yeah.
The last kind of stress I want to talk about that will lead to an unhealthy environment is physical stress. An example, let's say that you have a vertebrae in your spine that's out of alignment, and that vertebrae is pressing on a nerve, and you have pain or numbing because the nerve is being pressed on. Also, there is a lack of communication and energy supply because that nerve is not able to send all the messages from the brain that it is programmed to send. So not only is that particular area of the body where the nerve is located being affected, but everything in the same pathway that would be receiving all the information from that nerve is not getting the energy that it needs either. A lack of oxygen, a lack of nutrients, a lack of antibodies, and that leads to